All right.
Okay.
So,
you're back with another fun-filled adventure.
yeah, almost a treasure-laden adventure of
A planet's
planetary
worth.
size.
Yes.
A planet's worth.
Swashbuckling adventure.
Yeah. So welcome to episode 4.
4, man. Did you ever think we'd make it this far? Just every podcast is gonna
No,
be.
I didn't.
We're gonna be surprised.
I'm not gonna bother even putting out the fucking title because I don't feel like dealing with it. So yeah, episode 4. Today we're gonna at some point talk about Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet.
Because our path so far has led us from Junior, and from Junior we went to Treasure Planet via Emma Thompson.
What a fucking genre flip.
So it'll be interesting to see where Zach takes us. But as usual, Zach and I haven't talked. Well, I mean, we talked last night, but we haven't recorded in like a week. I still need to edit that fucking Junior episode. Like, I keep meaning to, and just
things have been busy for me anyway. So,
dude, I really understand. I'm starting to understand now in my 30s, like, why adults tell kids to value their free time. Because it's amazing how many little things will just pile up and completely eat your fucking time.
Your free time in which you were forced to go to school.
Yeah, I need to edit the Junior episode. Hopefully I'll get that shit up by like Friday. I mean, I'm all Friday, so worst case, if I have to wait that long, I'll just edit both of these, throw one up Monday and then one up following. But anyway, man, what have you been up to?
Working. Other than working,
doing that carpet stuff.
Other than working, that's been pretty much.
You put together a Gundam.
Put together a couple more Gundam, because that's. I've only got like one more spare Gundam to put together, so I'm gonna wait on that one.
I keep fucking buying them, and I don't have the time to put them together. Like, if I see a deal on one, I'm like, Mari, can I buy that Gundam? And she's like, sure, it's a hobby, it's okay. And I have the fucking Sinanju, which is still half completed.
That's
the Sazabi,
which HG Sinanju I sent you, right? Is that the one?
Yeah. And then there's the fucking Sazabi, which I haven't even bothered to start
which
yet.
I put together one of those just like yours, so let me know when that comes up.
And then I have the SD little chariot one I bought on a recommendation from a guy in the shop because it looked cool. And then the A-Stray Red Frame Sengoku, which will be here Thursday.
Man, I want that one.
So
I think that one looks so cool.
It's pretty neat. I saw it when we went on. We went to we found a bigger version of that one Gundam store that you went to with us. And it's really weird. So we took Zach to this place called Iron Age when he came up here. And almost right next door to Iron Age is this store called Lil Thingamajigs. And it's basically a weeaboo shop.
Yeah.
It's like Gundams and K-pop stuff and stuffed animals and like weird little trinkety doodads for anime and stuff. And it's everything I love in a store because I'm a fucking nerd. So we recently went back to the Iron Age that we started off with originally. The one we took Zach to was in Centerville, Virginia. The one that we were used to going to was in Rockville, Maryland. And it was closed for a while due to renovations. So we took Junin up there this last Sunday, just before we were taking him home because the renovation was over. We wanted to see what it was like. And as I get out of the car, I look in the window and I noticed that there's a Gundam statue in a box. And I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on. I look up, and it's the exact same store. It's Little Thingamajigs, but like double the fucking size of the other one. And now I'm wondering if like people that run this Korean barbecue also run weeaboo anime shops because they know their target
Probably.
crowd.
Speaking of Iron Age, we're getting a place like that in Huntsville pretty soon called get this Stone Age. Same exact deal. Fucking they keep bringing you food.
Well, they do have Iron Ages in the South. One of the first ones in the U.S. was in Duluth, Georgia.
But this one is called Stone Age, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, Korean barbecues are huge right now.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for that. And Missy and I found
I like how everything we introduced you to when you were up here, you're slowly
it's trickling down,
feeding into the deep south.
We did find a poke place, which is really, really good.
Poke.
It's poke. The Japanese lady at the counter pronounced it as
poke. Isn't
poke.
Japanese, it's Hawaiian. It's not Japanese, it's Hawaiian, it's poke.
She still pronounced it. She's more Asian than you, Josh.
She's Japanese, it's not a Japanese food.
She's more Japanese than you are, Josh. She's more Hawaiian
if the Mexican
than
guy
you are.
making your sushi called it sushi, would you call it sushi? No, you wouldn't. Son of a bitch. Episode's over, we're done. Channel's done.
But, yeah, we found that.
Oh, man. No, that's cool you're getting a Korean barbecue, though. I've never heard of Stone Age, so that's cool. So yeah, other than like work and fucking, the usual shit. So Zach and I have been playing Modern Warfare, the remastered one. They put that out
like once. You've played more than me.
So Zach and I have been playing Modern Warfare Remastered. They put that out on the fucking PSN, and that's been pretty fun. It's been a nice throwback to fucking Christ, over a decade ago I think that game came out. I don't remember. It was a while ago, but man, it's like we were talking about how you can hop back into like older multiplayer games and remember certain things. It's like kind of muscle memory from maps. Reason I bring that up is because they announced today that the Master Chief Collection is coming out on PC.
Right.
So that Halo 3, that Halo Reach.
Yep. I love Reach so much.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of gaming stuff got announced today. Gearbox has, did you see what they put up on Twitter?
No, I don't. I haven't. I almost don't even acknowledge Gearbox as existing anymore.
Well, the sole reason to acknowledge Gearbox's existence, which is Borderlands, is what they put up on Twitter. They put up, it's like this road sign, and it just says March 28th, and it's like in the kind of Borderlands-esque font for the most part. So I think Borderlands is finally crawling back on its hands and knees to its fan base and giving us what the fuck we want. So we'll see. I'm gonna try and not overhype it, but it's fucking Borderlands, and Lord knows I fucking love Borderlands. So fun.
Have you been playing anything?
No, just Gundam. I haven't had time to fucking... Not Gundam,
Modern Warfare?
Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Haven't really had time to do much of anything. I did have Reddit up. I was going to go over it. There was one other gaming thing I was going to go over, and I can't remember what the fuck it was now. Oh yeah, Path of Exile is coming out March 26th. I'm pretty excited. That's going to be a free-to-play game that's sort of Diablo-esque. So that should be pretty fun. Let's see... Hollow Knight Collector's Edition stuff. That looked neat. I wouldn't buy it, but, it looked cool. So let's see. What do we got here? So, two things I wanted to go over.
Do it.
In the continuing clusterfuck that is Anthem, I have not loaded this game at all since I played it the one night and then everything went to hell. But did you hear that players are organizing blackouts in the game to protest the loot issues? I
have not heard that. I have heard that the starting gun is the strongest gun in the game.
Oh my god, there's so much shit wrong with this. So, okay, I'll try and summarize all this real quick so we can get your thoughts on it. Now, in response to what Zach just said about the starting gun being the strongest one, this guy put together this whole, complicated post on Reddit, looking at the damage output based on fire rate or something with the starting gun compared to masterwork weapons you can get, and the starting gun's one of the most powerful weapons in the game.
It is the strongest gun in the game.
And just to continue this little clusterfuck, someone announced today, this guy posted a PSA on the Anthem subreddit that he had found a glitch where if you're playing as the Storm class, which is their wizard, and you trigger a weapon swap, you hit triangle or Y or whatever, and right when you activate the ult for the Storm class, that it won't use the ult meter. So you can use the ult, press the weapon swap, and it doesn't use any of the meter. So you have infinite life regain, basically, if you're playing as the wizard class. And the PSA was great because the guy just had, it was like 2 sentences. Like, I've been using this since day one and didn't want him to patch it. I've broke this game and I'm done with it. Here, guys, have fun.
Yep, it is the current shit show.
The final thing that I mentioned, which was the blackouts. So, Anthem put out this whole fucking big long post about they were doing this update to the game where they were going to balance out some of the classes and like all this other stuff. And one of the problems people have had with the game is that when you're running the higher tier difficulties, like after you've beat the game and maxed your level, that you're getting common and uncommon drops for beating these really high level enemies and boss characters, but you're still not seeing like legendary and masterwork drops. And what people have been trying to get into BioWare's head is that it's not satisfying to run these levels to get bullshit loot. Even if you got like bullshit rare loot, you could still break it down into better components. So what BioWare did to fix this was they removed common and uncommon loot drops from the table for higher level stuff, but they didn't actually increase the rate of legendary and masterwork drops. So now you're just getting less shit overall. And for a while, I won't say a while, it was actually, I think, a couple of hours, like right after the patch first launched, there was a glitch in their system where it was increased drop rates for everything for a while. So you weren't seeing like, it wouldn't be like you kill one enemy and you get like 50 legendary items, but it felt more rewarding. Like, you know, you were killing groups of things and getting better items. And BioWare came out and said this was a glitch on our part in the system, and they turned it off. And that has pissed off everyone in this fan base.
It's the
now.
loot cave
Because
all
for like
over again.
So for a few hours, they had a taste of what it would be like to play this game properly. And then BioWare just flipped the switch. It was like, no, fuck you, we're not doing that. And now there's been this whole push to do a blackout of the game where for like 3 or 4 days, no one will play it if they agree to this, to show BioWare, like, you know, just turn the fucking loot back on. Let us have our fun with this. You guys have fucked us up enough. Just let us get our loot out of this.
No.
And
you don't get
like,
fun. Yeah.
The one of the top responses on Reddit to this, and I agree with it, but at the same time I feel kind of bad for it, is the guy was like, if you're gonna organize like a response to show people to not fuck up a game, don't buy the game in the first place until you know it's good.
Yeah. I mean,
and I agree with that to some extent. Like, I still don't buy into the whole not pre-ordering games thing. I think that's kind of, you know, dogmatic and militant. Like, if you don't want to pre-order games, that's perfectly fine. That's on you. But don't try and, it's like religion. Don't try and push that belief on someone else and call them an idiot because they want to pre-order something that they believe in. And I get that Anthem, like, Anthem didn't really give anyone any reason to like pre-order that game. You had pre-rendered cutscenes at E3. The gameplay stuff was very like formulaic and by the book. There wasn't anything to make you believe that what you were seeing was what you were getting.
There wasn't the hype train for Anthem there was for something like Destiny 1. Remember how much marketing Destiny 1 had leading up for like 2 years? Anthem didn't have that.
Like, if somebody wanted to pre-order this game, fine. That's on them. But like these people that are coming out and just like, you're an idiot if you pre-order a game. I don't know. I get pissed about that kind of shit. Like, I'm going to pre-order whatever the hell I want to. Like, I'm probably going to pre-order Sekiro, and I'm probably going to fucking wind up hating that game because
I'll pre-order like single player games. Single player games I from a company that I actually trust. I'll pre-order those, no problem, but I don't pre-order multiplayer games anymore. They got to be out for a solid week.
I don't fully regret picking up Anthem. Like, I mean, because, you know, I got it dirt fucking cheap. I took him, and I did it to kind of test the game, because I can't stand people that will complain about games without actually like, or no, anyone can complain about something. I don't like people that willingly review things without actually playing.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I for some stupid reason clicked on something on the recommended page on YouTube, and
God.
it was like
that's an STD hole you don't want to go down. Like, now you're infected. Got to make a new account.
Like it was like a Jump Force review. I'm like, okay, I haven't heard anything that good about Jump Force, but I haven't seen any gameplay or anything like that. Let's just see what this review says. And the guy out of the gate's like, hey guys, all right, just up front, I have not actually played this game, but I have watched videos about it, and I have read a lot of reviews, and I think I have enough to form my own opinion. And I'm like, fuck you, nope, click off. Your opinion is not valid. You cannot review a fucking game, put it out there in the world, and without playing. I'm sorry, fuck you, go away.
You know what that reminds me of, and I think you'll understand this more than most? Fucking armchair comic book nerds that want to rant and bitch about movies without actually seeing them.
Or they read a Wikipedia article once.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I read the Wikipedia articles for most comic book films coming out, because after Infinity War, it's kind of gone out of my range, which, like, with Captain Marvel, please tell me you saw Captain Marvel, by the way.
So.
Good, we can talk about fucking Captain Marvel. Spoilers, we're going to ruin a lot of this fucking movie. But good, I was hoping you had seen Captain Marvel. Okay. Oh, man. There's so much shit I want to talk about with Captain Marvel, but... yeah, like, I don't know a lot about Jump Force. Like, I remember seeing the collector's edition for it, because the statue that came out with it looked really cool. And, like, all the characters, I saw they were going to have, like, Deku from My Hero in it, and, like, fucking Naruto, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like a blended game, and, like, some of the models looked kind of weird. Like, that's the one thing that jumped out at me. The faces looked very strange.
From the gameplay I saw, it doesn't look good. The animation quality as far as like the faces looks like there's one of like Vegeta like fucking doing the powering up, and it's just like his eyes do not change shape. They're just the triangle, and his mouth is just elongating open, and it looks really fucking bad. But now, like I said, I have not played this game. I downloaded the beta while it was out, but I never got a chance to play, because it was one of those weird fucking time-locked betas, I think. But, like, all the reviews that I read said the same thing. It's not a bad game. It's an incredibly simple game, and that makes it not very fun. Like, there's no depth to the combat. It's like 3 different buttons. I think it's just mash a button and
if you get control of the match early on, it's almost impossible to beat the person who does that. So I don't know what they were going for with Jump Force. I don't know if they were trying to get something in the esports scene, kind of like what Dragon Ball Z Fighters became. I don't even know if that game is still in the esports scene, but
yes, I think it's going to be at EVO.
I don't know what they were going for with this, but anyway, that's enough about fucking Jump Force, because I don't give a fuck about that game.
What's not going to be at EVO, Josh? Melee, and people are mad.
I'd say it's the end of an era. Q Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah, people are not.
But I mean, to be fair, dude, Smash Ultimate is fucking good. Yeah. I don't even like fighting games, and I like Smash Ultimate.
Yep, it's the fighting game for people who don't like fighting games. That's the way I've always seen Smash.
Except Guilty Gear. For some reason, I like Guilty Gear. Yeah, so what the fuck are we talking about? We talk about Armchair Warriors and people bitching about Jump Force. Vidgy games. We were talking about Vidgy games. So yeah, Anthem, the whole clusterfuck with that. Like, BioWare had a very limited window to kind of fix some of these problems, because Division 2 comes out at the end of the week. And guess what Division 2 is? A fucking loot shooter. And guess what's getting really good reviews? Fucking Division 2. Because Ubisoft does what Ubisoft has done for the past 5 years. They released a game that was really buggy at first, but people stuck with it, and they listened to what people wanted, and they patched it, and they patched it, and they patched it, and they patched it. And then finally it became a really good game. And Division 2 is the first game we're really seeing where they have a sequel based on something that they've done this formula with. It's like a multiplayer based game. And every single early review I've read of this game has said, like, they took everything they learned from the first one, all the things that they
all
fixed,
the things not to do,
put it into put it into a fucking sequel. And I'm excited for that, because I really liked the first Division game. I had a lot of issues with it starting off because it was fundamentally fucking broken in the Dark Zone with all the hacking. But I really liked the beta for 2. Also, the beta for the Division 2 is the longest fucking beta I've ever seen in my life. You get like a solid 6 hours of gameplay.
Is it still up, the beta?
No,
okay.
they did a closed beta, which I did at the end of January.
Oh, wow, yeah. Okay.
And then they did an open beta in the beginning of March, and that one already ended. But I have Division 2 pre-ordered. I have no problem whatsoever pre-ordering that game. So we will probably talk about that whenever we record next.
Josh, just
very excited for Division 2.
Just to run it back,
and Sekiro.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go on. I want you to finish your sentence because then I'm going to drop something on you.
Were you not recording?
No, I've been recording this whole time. No. I have something to drop on you.
Oh, cool. That's all I care about. I was about to freak the fuck out. Anyway, no, what are you going to say?
Pronounced Pokey, P-O-K-A-Y. People often pronounce it Pokey or worse, poke, as in I will poke you if you pronounce poke wrong. Josh, you white bastard. I'm right. Ha 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 ha. Cackle, cackle. All right, we can continue.
Episode's over. Who the fuck is messaging me? Why do people keep waving? All right, I'm going to ask you this. Earlier on Facebook, I got a wave from you.
Oh, that was
on the message.
All right,
thing.
I was trying to make a group chat for you and Mari so I could like send you both that weird ass music video, and
okay,
I hit
that just answered my question.
I hit wave by accident, thinking I was selecting you.
No,
so.
That's fine. I was free because you sent the wave and I was like, maybe he's trying to get my attention for recording. I don't know. But I just got a wave on Messenger from like someone I know from Otakon. Like I'm friends with her. But I was like, is Messenger telling people that it's waving at me to get me to talk to them, but they're not actually waving at me? But no, she just sent me another message. So I'm like, no, okay, people are actually using this fucking
It'd be
function.
one of those things. It's like,
this
you haven't talked to this friend in a while. Maybe you want to talk to them. They just waved at you. Don't you want to talk to them now?
Look, it's bad enough that Facebook fucking reminds me of people's birthdays that I haven't talked to in like 4 years. It's like, do I want to send them a birthday thing? Remove from friends list. But what the fuck? Yeah, Sekiro's coming out the 22nd or something like that. I'm going to hate this game.
You probably will.
I really want to play it.
You probably will, but I'm interested to see how far you get.
I don't know, like I haven't read that much into it. Like I watched the launch trailer that just came. Damn. Those chicken wings are fighting back. I just watched the launch trailer that came out for it, and I saw that there's like a revive mechanic in this game where like every fight you get one revive.
Interesting.
And if you use the revive too much, something bad happens, but they won't tell anybody what that is.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And I'm kind of excited for that. But I like that there's mobility in this game. Like, you have that grappling hook thing, and it's faster. Mm-hmm. That's a big thing for me that I don't like about the Souls games and Bloodborne. It's like, it's super methodical.
Yeah, it's methodical.
And you're waiting.
It's a rhythm game. The Souls games are rhythm games. Jump in, whap,
Sekiro
whap,
seems like it's
out.
a little... Yeah, Sekiro seems like it's going to be a little more like up-tempo, like fast-paced, but you still have to pay attention to things. Plus, I like the setting more. Like, this game looks a little more colorful. And as I've told you before, Bloodborne is the brownest shit I've ever seen in my life.
You get further into the game and it gets less brown. You get other colors.
They should have called it Brownborn.
The fact, like, you're talking about, being faster paced and everything. That's why I like Bloodborne so much, because you're encouraged to be aggressive. Whereas, like, Dark Souls, you kind of you get that shield. You're meant to block, but Bloodborne, you're meant to like get in there, do damage, gain your health back by dealing damage. I really like that game. Now,
I did see online that there might be some kind of multiplayer component to Sekiro where you can like co-op with someone. I didn't look into that much, but that would be pretty cool.
That's what the Souls games have had in the past. You can like call in a friend or whatever, and like they come in as a spirit and kind of help you out. So,
but I'll be picking up Sekiro. I'm getting Division 2.
I will look at Division 2. I will see what you say about Division 2, and we will see about Division 2.
I don't know. We'll talk about Division 2. No, we can talk about it now. Fuck it. We're in a podcast. Why wouldn't we talk about something? So, I I don't know if you'd like The Division or if you'd love The Division. It's weird because like I know what you play, and I feel like if we had a group of people playing it, it would be a lot more enjoyable for you. I can hop into a game like that by myself and just go farm some stuff for a while. You are the kind of person that wants someone else to be on to play it with. I can go either way.
Is it like a loot shooter? Is that what the first Division was? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely
you have
that.
found a slightly better 9mm by the same manufacturer that shoots the same exact kind of bullets, but this one is thunder.
Yeah, exactly. And
but I thought
one thing that The Division did that I really liked is like crafting. You can craft stuff, and when it's kind of like Diablo where you could forge things, and if you forge something, this one might give you +2 defense, this one might give you +2 luck or whatever. Like that's what you can do in The Division, and it's stupid. This is so fucking stupid. You know how I love cosmetics in a game, like making my character look different. One thing I fucking loved about The Division is that in the first one, it was in New York, and you would randomly come across civilians like wandering the street, and they would ask you for something. Like somebody might be like, "Oh, I'm so thirsty," and you had drinks that you could drink in this game, and they would do random things. Like some might heal you, some might give you like fire rounds for a minute or whatever. It was weird. I don't know why that did that, but so like somebody might walk up to you and be like, "I'm really thirsty," but like, do you want to give them a water bottle? And if you would say yes, there's a chance they would give you a unique cosmetic item, and they would just drop it in the ground. So you'd find this like grandmother in a back alley who's like, "Oh my god, I'm so thirsty," and you give her a water bottle, and she gives you a fireman's jacket, and then you could just walk around with a fireman's jacket.
Nice.
And I like random stuff like that. That world felt very alive at points for being very dead. It also had some of the best audio log stuff you could ever find. Like, they did a great job of making that world to make it feel like you were really listening in on people's lives. It did this really cool thing where you would walk into certain areas, and it's kind of hard to describe. It would almost show you this like sort of like Minority Report, sort of like recreation of a scene.
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
Of what happened to people. Yeah. And you would follow a little path to follow what happened to these people, and as you're going, you'd get audio logs and like hear what's happening to them, and that's also how you'd progress part of the side story.
Okay.
So it was a very like unique world to be in. It just had a lot of problems at launch. It wasn't like unplayable like fucking Anthem is. Like when Division came out, I've sunk like maybe 90 hours into the first Division. So I'm very excited for this new one, especially since it takes place in DC, and who doesn't want to wander around in like a virtual version of where they live?
Ready for a real government shutdown. Remember that headline for Division 2? During the government shutdown?
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, when I first loaded the Division 2, like, I looked around and my first reaction was, even in the fucking post-apocalyptic DC, you can't find anywhere to fucking park. Like, no matter what you do, you're fucked in terms of traffic in DC. Cool. But I'm very excited for that. And then the last one I was going to mention is Days Gone. Comes out next month.
Wait, that's next month? Talk about a game I heard about like 3 years ago, and then a little bit for like a minute.
Kept getting pushed back.
And then I haven't heard like dick about it in like a good solid year.
Sony has been really adamant about not releasing games when they don't think they're ready, and Days Gone, like, they just kept pushing it back and kept pushing it back, and I haven't read that much into the story for this. Like, I want to go into this kind of blind.
Yeah.
But I have been keeping up on like reviews of it and like what's been happening. And one thing, there's this one writer on Ars Technica that I really trust. And what they said was like that the time Sony took to add this polish to Days Gone has paid off like tenfold.
Yeah.
It's remarkably different looking at stuff from like E3 last year compared to what they looked at like a couple months ago. And I'm kind of excited. You know, Sony was single player driven games. They've pretty much repeatedly hit it out of the park.
So good.
So I'm hoping this is going to be another one of those.
When does this drop?
March 26th, okay, cool. I think.
I might go ahead. I might pre-order that, because
I might actually do this at GameStop. I hate GameStop, but there's a physical pre-order item. How fucking rare is that?
Sekiro has one.
Like, oh really?
It's a little katana and it's like a little katana, and you unsheath it. It's a little, it's a letter opener, and the blade is actually made out of metal.
At GameStop?
At my GameStop, anyway. Yeah, you could probably look it up. Because I went in there and they had one on
I'm
display.
gonna have to do this. Hey Mari, if you pre-order Sekiro at GameStop, they give you a katana letter opener.
Oh,
And it's on a little stand and
this.
everything. It's really cool.
That actually kind of, they did something like that from the first Lord of the, like, Shadow of War, or like Shadow of Mordor. That was a letter opener. It was his sword that was a letter opener. I have one of those somewhere. But Days Gone, if you pre-order it, you get a hat. And I don't necessarily care for hats that much, but it's a replica of the main character's game, and on the back it says Farewell Oregon. So I figure it'd be a nice little
Look this up.
throwback
I
to
might
where I
go
was born.
get that because I do like hats. Let's see.
Dude, fucking physical pre-order items are so rare
They really
these days.
are.
Like, good ones
Is it
at
a
least.
cap?
But it is.
Let's see.
Anyway, so those are the things on my radar coming up. Other than games, movies, let's see, we got Us coming out in like 2 weeks. Very excited for that. I really liked Get Out. That was really unique. Jordan Peele in general, I kind of dig what he's putting out. His reimagining of the Twilight Zone looks like it's going to be pretty good, and that comes out soon, so I have pretty high hopes for Us. What else? Mari, what other movies are coming out? Mari,
I'm trying to.
what other movies are coming out?
Shazam is coming out. I'm kind of excited for
Us?
that one.
I already talked about Us.
Oh, okay, well. Next month, obviously, Avengers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Avengers
Endgame.
and Shazam. Because
And Shazam.
Shazam. Filler.
And Aladdin. Aladdin comes out in May. The trailer for that came out
May,
today.
you have Aladdin, you have fucking Lion King. The following month, you have Toy Story. Like,
Fucking Christ, dude. Disney is going to be just jizzing cash everywhere. Like,
they're going to make all the money. They're going to make all the money. Did you see the?
I still don't know how to feel about Shazam.
It looks fun. Look, I am DC movies up until like Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman was still kind of dark and brooding. It wasn't the most fun movie. Admittedly, it wasn't fun. But Aquaman was fun. It was stupid, but it was fun.
out next month. Pet Cemetery,
Oh, yeah, Pet Cemetery. When does that come out?
beginning of April.
Fucking,
Same
I'm
time as Shazam.
trying to keep my hopes up for Pet Cemetery, but we'll see. I don't know, man. I hated Justice League. Oh yeah, Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Godzilla,
Oh, when does Godzilla come out?
May 31st.
I'm so fucking excited for the new Godzilla,
Better be
dude.
better than the last Godzilla, because that was a fucking awful
It's
movie.
gonna be legit. Have you watched a trailer for the new
I
Godzilla?
haven't. I did see King Kong.
Oh my God.
Isn't this a part of the fucking monsters universe they're trying to make? Because I saw King Kong. And
Yes,
that
but
movie
you
was
need
good.
to watch the goddamn trailer for this new one, dude. King of Monsters looks so fucking good.
May is going to be intense.
Yeah, dude. Glad you're not running the fucking movie theater anymore. I wouldn't see you at all.
I know, right?
Anyway, so yeah, a lot of fucking movies coming out. Holy crap, I was only thinking of Us and like Avengers, and then Mari's just like, nope, here's 9 fucking Disney movies
Hellboy,
coming
April
out.
12th.
What?
Hellboy's April 12th.
I don't give a fuck about Hellboy. Ron Perlman's not in
I
it.
saw a trailer for it,
Be interested?
and
Yep,
he
so did I. It looks terrible.
Fucking Ron Perlman was so perfect. He looked exactly like he does in the comics. And this one,
It feels like a lot of forced humor,
this one just
and I'm not
just
feeling
doesn't
it.
look right. I saw the trailer for Shazam. Like I said, that looks like a fun DC movie, and I'm all for fun. What else did I see a trailer for? Endgame. Looks like that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about Endgame when we get to Captain Marvel, which I feel like is going to be like the next thing we talk about. So
Before we get into that, have you watched any shows or anything? Have you been other than?
no, I don't think. Oh, I watched the Flat Earth documentary you talked about.
Which I misnamed last time. I called it Beyond the Curve, but it was Behind the Curve, I believe is actually what it's called. But
Whatever.
It's the only
beyond me.
it's
why
the
people
only
believe
Flat
that
Earth
kind
one
of
on
shit.
there. What did you think? Because I talked about it last time, so
I thought it was a great comedy, guys. Itself as a documentary. There were parts of it that really made me want to hit my TV. Like I told you, Mark, what's his name?
Sargent.
Mark Sargent or
Mark
whatever.
Sargent.
Yeah, that dude. Oh my god, what's the phrase from Shawshank? He thinks his shit smells sweeter than most. Like, like the first fucking scene with him is just like, I went into a chat room and like, oh my god, it's Mark Sargent, and I'm like, whoa guys, calm down, I'm a normal nerd. Like, shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. I'm watching this on screen and I want to reach through and strangle this stupid fuck and his mother. I don't give a fuck if that's an older. That dumb broad is going to sit in the backyard and go, oh, honey, that's lovely. You have like 300 people coming to your convention. Actually, it's like 1,000, Mom. Suck my dick. All of you people are fucking morons.
Oh, they go
like,
to NASA and they're like the NMV. Lol, lol, lol. Round Earth.
That, my two favorite parts of this, right, are actually all of it was my favorite
God, it was
part.
the best.
But I loved the scene where the fucking he's talking. Mark Sargent's trying to have them explain. Well, if a plane's flying down here, how come we never see it actually curve? It just goes off into the distance, and then it cuts to that I forgot her name, like the scientist lady who kind of had like the sort of colored hair or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember her name either.
Yeah, like it cuts to her and she's just like, I don't know how the fuck people can believe stuff like this. And then like literally the very end where they're testing the laser theory and it disproves their theory and the guy's just like, well, that's fascinating.
It's
Gyroscope.
the best. Ugh.
Oh my god, it's such a clusterfuck.
Dude, what's
like the thing?
What's scary is that at that fucking at that like the convention, one person has their fucking kid, and it's like this stupidity is being passed down to the next generation.
Cough, cough. Systemic racism.
Ugh, so fucking bad.
Like, Zach, we should go to a flat Earth convention and record an episode.
We could cosplay,
dude. Do you think we can infiltrate the flat Earth fan base and try and spread propaganda? Like, come up with our own theory?
I'll put on my
What's a good bullshit theory? Okay, how about
one.
this? If the Earth wasn't flat, how come all of our like monitors don't bend naturally? How come everything's flat on a monitor? You know,
I subscribe to Donut Earth personally, Josh.
I swear to God, dude, these people are so fucking. The scene that frustrated me the most was when it's got I forgot her name, but the podcast host who was like who Mark Sargent wanted to bang.
Oh, so bad. He wanted to bang her so bad.
When she's sitting in the car, right, and she's talking about how the really, I'm going to say really crazy one, and that's kind of a broad term to use when we're talking about a flat Earth documentary, but the guy that like created flat Earth theory, the one who's like looked like an artist, he had like the sunglasses on and he was sitting there with the woman behind him and yelling about how everyone
she was
is
just like sitting back there
Yeah.
texting or whatever, just doing her thing, not even. And he's ranting.
So-
he doesn't trust any of he's the flat earther who doesn't trust the other flat earther because they're government shills in disguise.
First of all, you know you've gone real deep down the goddamn well when you don't trust other flat earthers as a flat earth believer. But no, the scene where like this lady, the podcast host, is sitting in her car and she's talking to the documentary guys and she's explaining like, I got invited to this convention, but this one guy's trying to disprove me because my name ends in CIA or whatever. And then there's this moment. There's like this pause where she's like, if the people that are trying to discredit me are this crazy, then maybe the people I'm associating with are crazy too. And it's like 2 seconds where you're like, my God, this woman's going to come to the realization that this is all bullshit.
Moment of clarity.
She's going to have that like clarity moment. The light bulb's going to go off. And that's like, nope, this is totally correct.
Nothing here is amiss.
Oh my God. It's so fucking frustrating. But other than the Flat Earth documentary, I don't really think we've watched that much. We watched
You tried Russian
before we
Doll
watched
yet?
it, we did
Russian
what?
Doll?
No, we
Oh,
haven't
I
done
gotta
that.
watch Russian Doll. We finished it. It's so
We
good.
we did finish the new season of Chef's Table like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We watched what was the name of the other one? Like Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat?
You guys gotta watch
Yeah, we
Nailed
watched
It.
that. That was
You like cooking shows. You guys gotta watch Nailed It.
I like the Netflix cooking shows. That was really good.
Watch Nailed It. I think you and Mari will enjoy it. And Missy and I are usually laughing pretty hard.
What else have
at
I
it.
been watching? I've been rewatching Psych again because why not? I love Psych, but other than that, I can't really think of anything.
Well,
I did start the Grand Tour. We talked about that. Dude, did you see the new Koenigsegg that got announced?
no, I did not.
Oh, let me go find the name of this thing. Start talking about something. I gotta look this up real quick.
Like I said, Missy and I finished Russian Doll. It was really, really good. Highly recommended. Enjoyed that. I can't remember her name. I looked her up on IMDb. It is sad that she's not in like more movies that aren't like not another teen movie or scary movie. She's in a lot of spoof movies for a while there. And she was in that.
Yeah, we talked about her the last time.
I can't remember her
that we
name.
were
You're
on.
better with names than me.
I mentioned the cheerleader.
Yeah,
movie
I am a
that,
cheerleader or whatever. But
Yeah.
man, she needs to be in more like new shit. Like because she plays this.
Yeah, Natasha
Thank you.
Lyonne.
She plays this crusty, like just fucking wise to the world New Yorker type so well. Like she's almost like New Yorker the character. But that was a really good watch. Finished it. I started watching Battlestar Galactica.
Which one?
The newer one, the one from 2002.
That's a very good series, and I'm going to warn you, it's a very good series that drops off immediately with the last episode.
Wow.
Like, it is... I've never seen another television series do this before, where it builds and builds and builds, and it's so good. It's some of the best character development ever. And then the last episode is like the swiftest kick in the dick ever.
So, like, worse than the last scene of Sopranos?
I never watched Sopranos.
Oh, okay.
I have no desire to watch that.
I mean, I'm surprised you don't know about the ending. It was infamous for a long time. Because it just ends...
Nope, I don't know anything about it.
It's just like, these characters doing their thing, they're doing Soprano thing, and then it essentially just cuts the black when they're just eating dinner, and that's it. There's like no closure or anything.
Well...
But, I started watching that. I'm enjoying it so far. Been watching more Deep Space Nine while I build Gundam.
It's so
Yeah,
good.
man. Bet my favorite character is
Dude.
Quark. I don't know why.
We could do an entire fucking episode on why Deep Space Nine is the most underrated science fiction series of
It's
all
so
time.
good.
And I know that we're going to get people that's going to come in here and be like, what about Babylon 5? And I'll be like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about Babylon 5. I'm here to talk about Deep Space Nine.
That is on my list, though.
And why Cisco is the greatest captain of all time, in my opinion. Because Cisco is an actual fucking captain. Like, Captain Kirk was a playboy in space. Captain Picard, one of my personal heroes, I love him to death, was a diplomat in space. Captain Janeway and Captain Cisco are the only fucking people I have ever seen that acted like a captain when a captain needed to be a captain.
Captain!
Like, I fucking love Cisco. How far into it are you?
Midway through season 2 right now. So...
trying to remember the name of the episode where, and so I don't remember the name of it because I haven't watched Deep Space Nine, like gone through it again in like probably 8 years. But you know how every Star Trek has an episode where they go back in time.
Sure.
Cisco's like he goes back to he goes back in time, I think to like the 40s. And as you can imagine, a black man going back to the 40s, it doesn't end up too well for him. But there's this scene like when he comes back, it's just so gut-wrenching, and like you feel this character. Kind of like the episode I would compare it to is, do you remember the Inner Light from Next Generation?
When
Picard
lives a whole fucking life and has to build a family.
Yeah, and like he comes back and
one
like
of my personal
yeah,
favorites. Yeah, God, that is
that is my favorite
It's so
episode of
good.
Star Trek ever. But like, yeah, you feel this with Cisco. Just, it was real. Oh God, you're not going to get that until you watch that episode. But also, Deep Space Nine has the single greatest villain in the history of Star Trek, and that's Gul Dukat. Gul Dukat is the fucking man. I want him to have his own like, he needs a talk show, a reality show, his own line of like self-help books.
I'm sure Quark could get him up with that.
Dukat is so fucking good.
And
the guy that plays Dukat has played Romulans on like multiple other Star Trek series. Mark, I'm fucking blanking on his name. Mark Alimo. Yeah, great fucking guy. God, I can't wait for you to finish Deep Space Nine. You should totally watch Voyager after this, because Voyager gets a bad rap for coming off the tailwind of like TNG and then Deep Space Nine. Voyager is not as good as Deep Space Nine, but it has some very good foundations in it for stuff, and it introduces a lot to the Star Trek canon that's very cool. Like when you get into like fucking the cobalt weapons and like I love when they introduce like toward the end of Voyager, shit just gets ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it going
because like
I've got a while before
I'm not going to ruin anything else, but it just
there's like
it gets really
seasons, I think.
like fuck it. I'm going to ruin part of this because it's been like fucking.
I'm not going to remember. I guarantee you, I won't remember.
I just love that by the end of Voyager, like the Federation goes from like having photon torpedoes and these really like laser weapons. Like, how can we get more futuristic than that? You get the Voyager, which becomes outfitted with futuristic Borg weaponry. They can literally rip apart space and time.
Neat. Yeah,
like
ready.
It like the cobalt weapons, and when they introduce like the newer warp engines, it's so fucking good. God, I love those series. But anyway, the new Koenigsegg. I was going to mention this because we don't talk about cars a lot on here, and we both like cars. The Koenigsegg Jesko is the world's first street legal car that can go over 300 miles an hour.
Jesus. At some point, the G's are gonna fucking ruin you in a turn. In a fucking turn.
Oh, I love Koenigsegg so much. But anyway, I just wanted to mention
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, let's go talk about some Captain
this
Marvel.
Is gonna be
we're 45 minutes.
A dual movie
We're
cast.
45 minutes into this, and we haven't even started talking about the movie that we watched for the episode.
Special guest Captain Marvel cast.
Yeah, so here we go. 46 minutes exactly. We're gonna start talking about Captain Marvel. So if you don't want spoilers for this movie, go ahead and just I don't know, because I don't know how to tell you at what point we're going to start talking about Treasure
It's
Planet.
about 46 minutes in.
Strap in for the ride. Here we go. So Captain Marvel.
You can put timestamps in the description or something like that.
So Captain Marvel, for me, this is the first movie in the Marvel series where it's dealing with a character that I don't really know anything about.
Same.
Like
I'm right there with you. I only vaguely
like maybe I'd say maybe Black Panther too. Like Black Panther I knew a little bit about, but I really I had after they introduced him, I read up on his character a lot, and I got to learn a little bit more. I read the comics that came out.
The non-white, non-women ones are the ones we know.
Yeah, because, you grow up for years being told these are the only ones you're going to pay attention to, and then you find out, holy shit, there's like a whole fucking pantheon of like awesome characters that I didn't know about. But like Captain Marvel is the first real like mainstream film that I like that's leading into the next phase of Marvel for me that I've been kind of interested to see how it's going to play out. Because with you could call Black Panther, actually I guess you could call Doctor Strange the first movie to really like set up phase 3. But we're going to pretend like Ben Affleck Cumbersmatch doesn't matter right now.
He always matters.
Even with Black Panther, like you could say that Black Panther is the first mainstream phase 3 movie. Black Panther I knew was going to be interesting. With like Ryan Coogler directing it and like everything I'd seen leading up to it, the people acting in it, I was like, this is going to be interesting. And then they came out with that trailer for it, and I was like, this is going to be fucking really good. And a lot of my love for Black Panther has kind of tempered over time. I've been able to look back on it a little more objectively and find things that I didn't necessarily like with it. Yeah. But it's still really good for a Marvel film. It still has possibly the best villain development I've ever seen in a Marvel film with Killmonger.
Fucking Robert
and Dr. Claw. Fucking Claw. Like let's not ignore Andy Serkis here. That man's a goddamn genius.
Michael B. Jordan is absolute money right now. Like
everybody, which is funny because he was in that Fantastic Four film. That was gonna fucking wreck everybody.
Dude, everybody wants Michael B. Jordan right now. He is the most money.
Yeah, understandably so. Creed's goddamn amazing. Have you seen Creed?
No, I want to watch all the Rocky movies, dude, and I don't want to watch those until I
honestly, man. Oh, look, you know the basis of Rocky, right? You know what happens to Apollo Creed.
I know he punches. I know he's a boxer. I've never seen any of the movies. Like, I've never seen a Rocky movie.
Okay. We're going to talk about Captain Marvel, and now we're going to talk about fucking Rocky real quick. Look, here's all you need to know about Rocky. Rocky fights Apollo Creed. They become friends. Creed gets killed by Ivan Drago. That's all you have to know. That's literally the core of it right there. Then Rocky beats the shit out of Ivan Drago while training in the snow to awesome 80s music. Creed takes place with his son trying to basically live up to his legacy. They are some of the best films I've seen in the past 10 years. I fucking love those movies. Like, they did what Real Steel did. Like, they get you into the movie. They get you hyped for these fights. You really need to watch Creed. And Creed 2 was fucking amazing. Anyway.
Captain Marvel.
Back to Captain Marvel. So, Captain Marvel was the first movie coming out in this phase where I didn't know shit about it. I knew a little bit about Captain Marvel and, like, the basis of her powers, but I really had to read up on this and learn about Carol Danvers and, like, the whole Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. It's really weird because Shazam is coming out, and Shazam was Captain Marvel, and then Shazam became Shazam, and then Miss Marvel became Captain Marvel.
Yep.
And now we've got Captain Marvel coming out right next to Shazam, and it's kind of weird.
And fucking different publishers. Captain Marvel of DC is now Shazam, and then it's it's confusing. It's really confusing if you don't read comics that much.
So, before we get into, like, the specifics of this movie, let's just get this out of the way. Did you like the movie?
Yeah, I liked it. I don't think it was, like, one of my, like, top favorites or anything, but I thought it was really, really good. It was super enjoyable.
I really liked it, too. I think that the afterglow for this movie, for me, has faded quicker than any other Marvel film. Like, when I left the movie, I was riding a pretty decent high off of it. And I think a lot of that has to do playing on two things. Actually, I'll say three things for me. One, it took place in the 90s, which is when I grew up. So, like, that hit that nostalgia bone for me right there.
I believe.
It heavily involved the Air Force, which for most of my life, I wanted to be a pilot in the Air Force. Like, that was my dream. That's all I wanted to do. So you had the 90s and then that. And then the other thing, and I mentioned this when I posted on Facebook, which is, like, this was the first Marvel film I'd seen in a while where someone got their powers and you felt them coming into them. It was an origin story that felt good.
Yeah,
it
didn't
points.
feel
Like,
forced.
The end
it
of
wasn't
the,
a forced origin story.
The end of the movie, like, when you see her really come into her own with this and, like, fucking wreck the accusers and shit.
Kaioken times 10.
Like, when she was wrecking the accusers, like, you were like, this is cool. Like, I'm really feeling her getting into this. Like, I left the movie and, like, I talked to Mari about it. I was like, I really enjoyed this. And I've been thinking about it since we saw it last night. I've been thinking about it since then and, like, going over things. And there's a lot chipping away at this movie for me. And I don't know how well it's going to hold up in the long run. Like, I think I gave this movie, like, an 8 when I left the theater. And it's kind of worked its way down to a 7 for me. And I think it's going to keep going down. And I'll explain why. There's a lot to it. So, warning, we're going to touch on some things that most people might not like. And we're just going to start right away with, I feel like this movie is sex baiting people. Mari had mentioned when we left the theater, she was wondering if she felt like, as a woman, she felt like she was being kind of like manipulated almost.
Like targeted
into liking these films because, like, oh, it's a female superhero and all this other stuff. And my argument at the time, it really wasn't an argument, but it was more of like a comment. And I still believe this, which is, it doesn't matter, because if someone feels represented on screen and that makes them feel good, that's all that matters. So, like, like, when Black Panther came out, you could argue that Marvel was, like, riding off of that, like, you know, the Black Lives Matter, and, like, this movie came out and it gave, like, little black kids, like, they have a superhero they can look up to now. They can look at T'Challa and Black Panther, and maybe not so much Killmonger, but, like look at them and go, like, that is a black superhero. I can identify with that. Just like when I was growing up, I would look at, like, Captain America or Superman and be like, oh, that's fucking cool, you know? He's
I could look at Captain America and Superman and Iron Man and Spider-Man and all of them.
Yeah, right? So, like, Captain Marvel coming out, when my first thought with this was, like, I've seen all these news articles with, like, where it's like Brie Larson, like, looking at a little girl, or like little girls, like, dressed as Captain Marvel, like, looking up to her. And I'm like, that's fucking cool that they get that kind of representation in a film now. That's awesome. And I'm not arguing that at all. For me, I feel like that's the only thing I've really taken out of this film that's going to stick at this point, because the way that Brie Larson has presented herself off screen in this role has been kind of dickish.
I heard some rumblings about that.
It's it's really starting to impact how I'm viewing the movie overall. Like I read a lot of her, like her interview interactions, and like she made some commentary about like how white guys represent, you know, a higher representation of like film critics and all this other stuff. And that she said like their voice didn't matter when it came to movies like these, because she wanted to hear what like, you know, female directors and like, or like female film critics wanted to say about Captain Marvel. And the one example that she gave was Wrinkle in Time. She was like, I don't care what like a white film critic has to say about Wrinkle in Time. The movie wasn't made for him. I want to hear what like black kids and black teens and like people of color and like women of color have to say about this movie. And that to me is a really fucked up way to view things.
Yeah, it's
like you're
excluding
aren't
people.
Made.
Movies for everybody. Like,
yeah,
if you're represented
like,
in them, awesome. But your movies are for everybody.
I might go as far as to say that, like, maybe as a white male, my opinion may not matter as much as a person of colors, but it doesn't completely invalidate how I feel about something. And then on top of that, there's this hypocrisy with her statement where she had made another one claiming, she said, that getting noticed or like getting a good review can literally change your life. And who's given her most of these reviews than the white guys that she's complaining against now? And it's really like, I look at Captain Marvel and I look at like how fucking successful this movie was. It's like the 6th largest opening of all time. It shattered every Marvel record in the book except for Infinity War. Like, it broke fucking Force Awakens record. It is a powerhouse right now. And barring any serious drop next weekend, it's gonna fucking crank money out. And Lord knows what the hell Endgame's gonna do. Like,
how did it do in comparison to Wonder Woman, out of curiosity? Was there any
Captain Marvel?
Yeah, was there any side-by-sides?
No, not directly, because it's not comparable. Like, Captain Marvel fucking decimated every fucking thing. Like, this movie just hit at the right time. It's a combination of like nothing else really being out, and that pre-Endgame hype, and then the marketing machine that was.
There haven't
Captain
been a
Marvel.
whole lot of super interesting movies, like not many blockbusters come out in a good, like this year really. This is the first movie I've seen this year, to be honest.
So like her.
So I mean, a lot of factors,
as an actress,
a lot of factors playing in.
It's a lot playing into this. And moving off of Brie Larson the person and going into the movie itself, my first complaint I had with her as an actress in the film was that she felt very flat at times. There were times in the movie where like it kind of felt like she was phoning it in. And then there were times where like she had that.
I get that. Yeah, there were some parts in it. Yeah, like like that ending fight scene when she's in the ship and everything. Yeah. And she's like said like, you know, a quippy line. You know, superheroes, they always quip when they're fighting dudes.
Yeah, and
it was very monotone. And I was just like, I mean, maybe it was supposed to be badass voice, like fucking I got this, you know, nothing beats me kind of thing. But I don't know, it just came off as more like monotone. I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking.
No, I agree. Like Brie Larson in general, like the movie was, I liked the movie. I would recommend the movie, but like her as an actress, one of the first things I told Mari before we even saw this movie was I'm concerned with her ability to carry these films. Because she's essentially going to be taking over the role of Captain America from Chris Evans. And Chris Evans is a charming motherfucker. Like, that guy knows
Chris Evans
how to play Captain America.
Perfect human.
He plays this well, and he has Robert Downey Jr. to work with. And lately, Chris Hemsworth. Like, let's give Chris Hemsworth a little bit of credit here real quick for taking Thor, which was the most boring of the fucking Marvel movies, and making him the best character in the fucking series now.
He held those movies up because, man, Thor Dark World was not good.
Dude, Taika Waititi, like the guy that did Thor Ragnarok, also did What We Do in the Shadows, which is one of my favorite movies ever, and has a TV show that's out right now that I need to watch. Thor Ragnarok is my favorite fucking Marvel movie.
It's great.
Like, end of story.
It's great.
I love that movie to death. But, like, Chris Evans has Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hemsworth to bounce all this off of. this is going to lead into my next complaint with this real quick. But before I get into this, I just want to say something. You'd mentioned the final fight scene in the movie. Can we talk about how cringy it was in retrospect that they played just a girl during that fight scene?
Yeah, it sounded. It felt like. Oh yeah, of course
like,
they'd go.
When
with
I
this.
was watching it, I was like, I love this song. Yeah, no doubt I can kind of get in this. And like I was thinking about it today when I was at work, and I'm like, that's an odd song to play in a movie where you're trying to push female empowerment. It just feels off. But moving back, I have concerns with Brie Larson's ability to carry a series like this, because we're going to be losing Chris Evans, we're going to be losing Robert Downey Jr. I don't know about Chris Hemsworth. I assume Thor's going to want to stay in it, but I don't know how that's going to work.
No, fuck that. Beta Ray Bill, let's go.
I don't know. Like one thing I read online that I kind of agreed with, and I'm hoping this is the case here, was that the first Iron Man film wasn't the greatest film in the world. Like Robert Downey Jr. was great as Tony Stark, but like the writing was a little weird, and there were times in the film where like he was kind of getting used to the character, and you could tell there were like moments where it didn't feel right. And that's almost what it's like with Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. So
she
it's
might,
like maybe with
she
the
might
next
grow
film,
into it more.
Yeah, grow into the role more, and like we'll see. What's really gonna help me tell this more is Endgame, when we see her interacting with the other
she
characters.
has these other these larger than life characters that have been solidified for like the last decade to like kind of bounce off of,
Which,
because they've all worked together, and they've all had these interactions with each other for years now. So we'll see how she plays with that.
That's a perfect lead in to the one of the last things I want to talk about this, because we do need to talk about Treasure Planet at some point, which is Marvel has spent 10 years building up all of these characters, right? And like developing their powers, developing their abilities and personalities to get them where they are. And then they introduced Captain Marvel, who is the strongest character that they've announced to date in this series.
Yeah.
And
she's fucking
it's kind of weird they didn't opt to bring her in earlier. Like it just seems weird. You spend 10 years developing all these characters, and then with one movie, like you make her the very first Avenger.
Josh, she was in space. She couldn't help. She was over there.
That's another thing I haven't quite figured out, how that works with like him paging her, and it's like I guess time is slower in space. So maybe that explains.
Josh, Avengers are over here. Okay, Captain Marvel is over here. She can't be here when Avengers are over here. Josh, come on.
So to kind of wrap all this up, I really liked Captain Marvel, not as much as I did when I first got out of the film. We'll see where it sits. We'll touch back up on this the next time we record and like see if anything else pops up.
But I enjoyed it too. I was actually, reason why I was kind of curious about Wonder Woman in comparison to it was so in the car on the way home, because I saw it with Misty, and I was like, all right, so of the two big superhero female lead, you're being represented here, which did you like more? She's like, I think I liked Captain Marvel more overall, but she said, but Wonder Woman made me cry. Because like I think, and I know the moment too, is the moment when Wonder Woman pops out of the trench and just fucking bull rushes the fucking other, like that was fucking, dude, that scene got me. Like that scene even got me. Like I was starting to choke up during that.
The funny thing is like that scene for me like solidified my biggest complaint with Wonder Woman. I love that movie, but it had so much goddamn slow motion in it. Like,
but that was a good scene,
seriously,
though. Slow motion.
At some point, you've got to let the movie progress at a normal goddamn rate. Like, anytime she'd get into a fight, it's like, whoop, let's bullet time this shit. We're not sure the audience can keep up with how awesome she is. Like, there were just times when I wanted to see her fucking go all out and just beat the shit out of people. Like, the thing I like about the DC movies that I haven't got with the Marvel films, except for Thor and the Hulk films, is you feel impact in those movies. Like when Wonder Woman was beating the shit out of people, you felt those hits. But unfortunately, for 80% of those hits, they were in slow motion. I can only take so much of it in a movie before it feels like a crutch to me.
But yeah, like,
And I will agree, that scene in particular was great in slow motion.
That
but
scene
it was
got me.
unfortunately at the tail end of a movie that had 90 other scenes with it.
But like that scene got me, but there was nothing in Captain Marvel that really got me like that. Like even when she's wrecking shit, in the end, you know, when she's gone fucking Super Saiyan, I don't know. I'm just like, all right, well, she's gotten the fucking limiters taken off of her powers. She's god tier now.
She's gone binary.
Yeah. Miss Marvel used to be binary years ago in the comics. But I don't know. Like I liked the movie overall. Yeah, it was fine. Like I said, it wasn't one of my favorites.
I liked it overall. I feel like a lot of my
probably like a good 7 to 8.
I feel like a lot of my final opinion on it is unfortunately being tarnished by the actions of the actress outside of the film
and the fact that you're a damn dirty man.
If I were to separate my feelings about that from it, I would put the movie at a solid 7.5 to 8 out of 10, which 8 is pretty high in my book for a film. I really enjoyed it. I have issues with we should touch on this. I do have issues with the pacing of the story. Like, it was really weird that in the very beginning of the film, the Skrull break into her mind and you see everything that's happened to her, but then we spend the rest of the film with her trying to figure out what's happened to her. So there's this weird disconnect where, like, you know what she's trying to figure out, but at the same time, the whole movie's based around her trying to figure it out. That was a little strange to me. But that being said, I would like to give quick shout outs to Ben Mendelsohn, who played Talos, which was the Skrull leader, and fucking Lee Pace for coming back as Ronan the Accuser. Both great fucking actors and great villain actors. So, yeah, it was cool to see them in it. I wasn't expecting Lee Pace to come back, but it makes sense because he's fucking Ronan the Accuser.
Special extra shout outs to Goose the Cat.
Yes, and Coulson with the hair looking slick.
D.H.
Nice.
Coulson.
Yeah.
And D.H. Sam Jackson,
so anyway.
too.
So, fucking, well, Sam Jackson. I don't think that man's ever not been great in something he's in. That includes things on a fucking plane.
We didn't mention him because it goes without saying that he's Sam Jackson. He's going to be fucking good. Like...
Yeah. Also, so quick note about Sam Jackson. Mari had never seen Pulp Fiction until like a week ago.
Really?
Yeah. I put it on to watch, like, just go through it for dinner for the hell of it. I was like, I need something to watch. And she had never seen it, so she saw that. But anyway, so moving on from Captain Marvel, let's talk about fucking Treasure Planet.
Yeah. And you just watched it today. I watched it like a week or two ago.
Yeah, I did. I picked it up today. I figure we need to record. I'll get it out of the way. Why not? So Treasure Planet, Zach, you seem to really enjoy this movie. Why don't you talk about this? I talked about Captain Marvel in the beginning.
Okay, I really enjoyed Treasure Planet. I was looking forward to it. This movie bombed apparently. Like, did people just not like it, or were they just not interested? What was the consensus there?
Well, generally, if someone's not interested, they don't like it. So,
I thought it was good. My only real complaint, if I had, I have a little nitpick here and there, but
I have quite a few because I was not a huge fan.
You didn't like it? Oh man, I thought it was so much fun.
I didn't, but finish what you're saying. Just to clarify real quick, its budget was $140 million. It made 109.6.
Its story is generic. Is my big...
Well, I mean, it's literally an adaptation of Treasure Island.
Yeah. So... It's an adaptation of that, but I mean, it's like... I don't know. I just felt like I feel like I've seen plenty of things with that same story structure. So that felt a little eh. There were parts where the CG was... And it was only on the main character, Jim? Was that the main character's name? Jim Hawkins. Sometimes when he turned his face, I don't know if it's because it was CG or there was some wonky 2D CG like amalgamation going on.
He was 2D.
He was 2D, but like look as he goes from profile to straight on face shot. it looks off. It just weird. And he's the only character that had this problem because everyone else was fucking monsters and shit. But yeah. I fucking loved all the cool characters. It melds all these different things I like because I love pirates. I love flying ships because Skies of Arcadia is one of my favorite games ever. Fucking...
Minus giant grappling hook.
Do what?
Minus giant, like, harpoon on the front.
Didn't have a giant harpoon. Fucking minus 10 points. Had robots. Fucking... I don't know. It had a lot of things I really liked. Even for a 2002... Yeah, 2002. I thought it CG looked good.
I just had the Wikipedia, but I closed it already.
Really nice. I thought it had really good animation, like with the cyborg, who I'm also blanking on because it's been a minute.
Silver.
Thank you. With like the way they...
Who was literally Long John Silver.
Yeah, the way he had his robot arm, how it like was articulate and everything and moved around. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I liked this movie.
Silver was really the only thing about the movie I liked, like that and the set pieces.
Morph was fucking what's his name? Jimmy Click, Martin Short. Martin Short was
Ben.
Whatever, you know. He was another
Ben the robot.
Yeah, Ben the robot was another funny character, which was at least he wasn't in the movie for very long. I don't know.
You're literally hitting on like all the complaints I have. Like as you're going along, you're saying things. I'm like,
I liked this movie though. Overall,
about that.
I really did have a good time watching this movie. So
overall, this movie put me to sleep.
Really?
Literally. Like I fell asleep. Mari had to wake
even
me
the
up.
montage when Jim is finding a new dad figure with Silver and can you hear me be a man? Which I wonder who fucking does that song.
Let me touch on this movie from the very
yeah, we didn't really do a recap. I just started spouting on it.
I'm going to do a very quick summary of this movie. So Jim Hawkins plays this sort of like
troubled youth.
Rough attitude, like troubled youth. His dad left to go surf the space oceans and find treasure, left him with his mom to work this little inn in the middle of nowhere or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically one day this creature crash lands in front of their inn, leaves him with this device he finds out is a map, and they go charter this ship to go find the treasure planet, and that's really pretty much it. So
Goo Goo Dolls did that montage song. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it was Johnny Resnick, yeah. So my issues with this movie are many. But I'm gonna boil it down. Boil it down to the two big ones.
I am famously easier to please than you, so
the story for me was very fucking disjointed at points. And I feel like this movie was storyboarded and then they just took it and jumbled certain things around. Like them introducing Ben the robot with like a half hour left in the movie was one of the weirdest fucking decisions ever. Like they land on this planet and like fucking Martin Short robot pops up with like 30 minutes left in the movie and somehow becomes a critical character in the film.
He was
like they honestly,
maybe
they should have made it
maybe
so that
even they thought Martin Short was kind of a little too much and they didn't want him in there too much.
They should have taken the morph character and swapped it with the robot character. That would have made sense. Like the cyborg has a little robot buddy, but anyway, that is a minor complaint compared to my two big ones with this film, which is the pacing for the story is just all over the fucking place. Like 1 minute there's like heartfelt montage, and then the next they're fucking speeding along toward the end of the movie, and they're speeding along to the end of this movie with what is my number one complaint, which is the main character. I love to death Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Like he's fucking charming as shit. I love him in Inception. Brick is one of my top 3 favorite films of all time.
Which is why I said I bet $20 I know what movie you would have picked for us to watch if you had been...
I'm not going to make you watch Brick again. And honestly, I like the idea of us watching movies we haven't seen, with a few exceptions if something seems really interesting. Yeah. But I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He was terrible in this movie. Like, maybe it was just the way the character was written, but I hated the main character. Like, so fucking, like, just angsty and boring. And, like, it's hard to describe why I dislike the character other than saying when he was saying his lines. Shut up, Zach. I don't give a fuck. My dad left and I have character out the ass, unlike him. That's what I should name this episode. My dad left, but I have character out the ass.
But Josh, he's sad.
No, you know what? We're going to call this episode Higher Further Disaster. So, like, his delivery was so fucking boring. Like, it felt like I was watching him read the lines while half asleep as opposed to watching a character on screen. And that's leading, like, one thing I really liked about the movie was the character Silver. Like, I really liked his character. I felt like the acting was good. The movement was really neat. Like, it's really good animation with him.
I liked Doppler as well. Dr. Doppler.
So I have, like, Mari brought this up at the end of the movie, and it's one of the issues I had. Dr. Doppler's a fucking pervert. How are you gonna mac on this dude's mom in the beginning of the fucking movie, and then the minute you're on a ship with this other fucking space captain, and you're like, whoa, I'm gonna get me some of that strange.
I mean...
like, and then at the end of the movie, how far fucking ahead did the movie jump? He's got 4 kids already with this woman?
Clearly cat people's kids fucking mature faster, Josh. Do you ever think of that?
No, I don't want to fucking think about cat people's kids. But no, I hated that fucking character. He was so fucking annoying. I think as I get older, I'm getting less
crotchety.
Like,
You're getting more crotchety.
I don't like the nerdy comic relief characters. That was what I hated about Spider-Man Homecoming. His fucking best friend. I couldn't fucking stand that asshole.
Genki. Well, okay, he's Genki in the fucking comics. I can't remember what they named him in.
I don't know, but I fucking hated him in that movie. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to hate him in Far Away From Home, too. But I don't know. Like, this movie was all over the place for me. Like, like I said, the set pieces were gorgeous. Like, the backgrounds, the planet design, all of it was really fucking cool. But it was
It looked really good. I thought it was a very pretty movie.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really am.
I'm easier to please than you.
This is true. But I did dig up some very interesting facts about this movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, so one of which, and there's actually footage for this. If I was going to make this a video, then I would put this in there. But so this was one of Disney's first attempts to do like major CGI alongside traditional 2D animation. And there's a video where, to test this, they took the CGI of the robotics from Silver's arm and put it on Captain Hook's arm from Peter Pan, but they basically overlaced it the old, like, hand-drawn animation. And I'll link it in our Facebook chat because you'll like it, but it's really neat seeing, like, this storyboarded Captain Hook from the old, like, Peter Pan movie with this fucking cyborg arm on him. Like, kind of makes you wonder what would happen with Peter Pan if fucking Captain Hook just pulled out, like, a laser cannon arm. But that was really cool. The other thing I found out was that, in the very beginning of the film, when they show the montage of, like, him reading, well, not a montage, but it's like him reading the book with his mom or whatever.
The storybook.
That originally wasn't going to be in the movie. It was going to start with Jim as an older man repairing, like, a solar glider and, like, talking to a little kid and then telling this story of, like, how he became what he was. And I feel like that would have been a little bit better because the main character didn't have any character development in this movie. Like, you saw him, like, kind of develop a sense of responsibility, but all you really get in the beginning is like, oh, it's a little boy that likes books and his dad left and now he's an asshole.
But
like, that's all you really get.
He got pirate dad.
I don't know.
And he became a fucking, like, cadet or whatever. Josh, everybody,
look,
happy endings for everybody.
Zach, I don't give a fuck. Okay, but this is going to lead into what I feel like is one of the most interesting facts I've ever found out about a movie. So the directors and producers for this were John Musker and Ron Clements. And I'd never heard of them before, but after watching this movie and shortly before we recorded, I looked this up. I wanted to see what other movies they had done to kind of get a feel like maybe why this turned out the way that it did. And, Zach, they were the writers, directors, and producers of The Great Mouse Detective, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Hercules, Princess of the Frog, and Moana.
Damn.
Like, they are Disney fucking legends.
They're Disney royalty.
And to make this even more interesting, they pitched the idea for this movie in 1985 alongside The Little Mermaid. It took them that long to get the movie made.
Damn.
It took them 4.5 years to make this movie, to do the CGI and the hand drawing for it.
Huh.
So, a lot of interesting stuff with this movie. Treasure Planet was not my favorite movie. I won't say I hated it, but I definitely didn't enjoy it. I would say maybe 5 out of 10 for me. And a good 2 or 3 points of that is just Silver, the character. And one of the points is his mom, because, you know, MILF, whatever.
Of course. Cool.
Can I say, man, it's that, like, Disney brunette animation. Belle just did it for me. But, yeah, I'm glad you liked it. What do you give it?
I'd probably give it like, I don't know, probably about an 8. So I'm hovering kind of between a 7 and an 8. Because I did have nitpicks.
So Captain Marvel and Treasure Planet hover between a 7 and an 8.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
All right. Well, Zach, it's time. It's time.
It is time.
What's our next movie?
Our next movie, because okay, so there was a bunch of them. I'm like, there was like at least 4 movies.
Well, tell us some of the ones you were thinking about.
I was thinking about Looper, because I haven't seen that since the theaters, but we've both seen it, and you know.
Yeah, Looper's interesting.
It was gonna be Looper, and then I was going.
Looper always threw me off because of that weird fucking like the facial stuff to make Joseph Gordon-Levitt look like a younger Bruce Willis. It was always weird to me.
Yeah, it's weird. I forget which one of the other one of them was. I was going through like Martin Short's stuff, and I was gonna.
That's a good call. He has a ton of things.
Yeah, I was gonna pick Inner Space because I had never seen it. But I looked through it. I was like, I watched a trailer for it and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch that.
Come on, man. We got to do some terrible movies at some point.
It was almost Inner Space, and I don't remember what the other one was. It was one that I had seen.
Well, you did say you were going to do Brick.
It wasn't Brick. It was something else. Fuck, I don't remember. But no, what I did finally settle on was
drum roll.
Go
on.
Since I love Frasier so much, I picked The Perfect Host with David Hyde
Nice.
Pierce.
I wanted to see that. Yeah, that's a good. I know what that is. Cool.
Yep.
I never saw it, but I wanted to.
2010's The
Hopefully
Perfect
it's streaming
Host
somewhere.
With
I'm tired of paying for movies, so hopefully I can stream this somewhere.
Yeah, I may have borrowed Treasure Planet from the internet. I gave it back.
I just paid $4 on GoFuck.
I had to do that for Junior because I couldn't find a good fucking file that wasn't in Russian.
Junior was worth it, god damn it.
But yeah.
So anyway, our next movie will be the Perfect Host with David Hyde Pierce. That'll be fun to cover. But we're pushing an hour and a half on this episode, so let's go ahead and call this one here. Yeah, so next time we see you guys, we'll talk about The Division, more Vigigame stuff, and yeah, fun. So, Zach, do your thing.
Good night, film fans and other fans of things.
Yeah. Mari, say good night.
Good night.
We will see you guys in the next one.
Later.